The Carolina Panthers haven't been doing so well this season, and some are wondering if it's because of their quarterback, Baker Mayfield. Recently, the Panthers head coach, Matt Rule, touched on this topic in a press conference, as well as how he was going to tackle the very prevalent issue that the team was facing. If you want to know what Rule thinks, stick with us to find out. Anyways, let's get right into it. First things first, Panthers HC Matt Rule on whether he'll bench Baker Mayfield. As we said, the Carolina Panthers aren't doing so well this season. Seriously, they've suffered 3 losses already, and when the third blow came through, a 26-16 loss to the Arizona Cardinals, fans are now wondering whether some positions should be shifted to finally start doing better long term. But after the unfortunate game on Sunday afternoon, the Panthers head coach Matt Rule said in a press conference that he didn't really have any clear idea about why his team wasn't doing as well as they should be doing, and even more importantly, where exactly they were going wrong, that they weren't getting the results everyone has been expecting of them so far. At the press conference, Rule said it wasn't good enough. He knows that they definitely have some problems in their offense, but for now, he believes that he and his team will be going back and looking at everything they've been doing so far and how they can do better. Specifically, they'll be figuring out what they're doing well and what they're doing wrong and try to fix whatever's holding them back, because it definitely took a toll on them in the game. Next up, is Matt Rule going to be benching Baker Mayfield or not? After seeing so many lost games in such a short period of time, a lot of people are wondering whether the problem isn't the team as a whole, but in their quarterback, Baker Mayfield, especially after their latest game, which was pretty disappointing. Against the Cardinals, Mayfield completed 22 of his total 36 passes for 197 yards and had 2 interceptions and just 1 touchdown in the whole game. At 61.9, this was his lowest passer rating of the year, but none of his 4 starts for the Panthers had ever produced a rating above 100. Naturally, after the game, this was a must-ask question at the press conference for Matt Rule. Will he or will he not be benching Baker Mayfield? The coach kept his cool, saying that he couldn't really share much at the moment, especially considering that it's not just about one person. Most of the time, it's a lot of different things working together to produce a satisfactory or unsatisfactory result. So while he couldn't share a well-thought-out answer right now, he could definitely share some insight after he's rewatched the tapes and analyzed exactly where his team went wrong. With all that being said, Matt Rule finally thinks that the team can give a better performance than they had that night. There's a lot to expect from everyone in the offense, but first and foremost, it starts with him, the team's coach. There's definitely some deficiency in the offensive side of the team though. If there's one thing for certain, it's that the Carolina Panthers need to score more points offensively. But while they definitely need to get that corrected, Rule shared that he doesn't believe it's right to say that one person is the reason behind it all, at least not right now. Coming up, could Sam Darnold take back his position as starter? Another thing that we should really be considering is that the Carolina Panthers' previous starter, Sam Darnold, might be able to come back and play with the team in a few weeks' time. A while ago, he suffered a serious high ankle sprain injury during the preseason, but now that he's almost recovered, could he come back to take his rightful position as the starter for the Carolina Panthers? And would the team be better off if he did? The answer? Honestly, probably not. While Darnold definitely was the previous starter of the Panthers, he wasn't really a good one. Last year, he went 4-7 in his total of 11 starts for Carolina, and while it isn't really that impressive, he could still be an option if Rule thinks that Mayfield isn't performing as well in the role as he should be. At the very least, Darnold has experience with offense. He was even considered for the starting role this season too, before Mayfield won the spot instead. So maybe not the best option, but definitely still an option for Rule if he ends up deciding to bench Mayfield. Moving on, what is Rule planning on doing right now? Bench Mayfield? Don't bench Mayfield. This question is definitely swirling around in everyone's minds right now, but Rule as the head coach needs to figure out what's the best option for his team to succeed. Whether that means he's going to have to replace Mayfield with someone else, or just work with what he had in the existing offense is yet to be determined. But no matter what he ends up deciding, Rule definitely knows that something needs to change, especially after Sunday's performance against the Cardinals. In the press conference, Rule shared that he obviously knew the performance wasn't good enough and that the numbers aren't what they need to be in a lot of areas. But to actually figure out what's the root of the problem, he needs to go back to all their previous games and this one and find out what's happening that's holding them back so much. Rule knows that the team has the personnel on offense to make plays, so he's going to work on figuring out exactly why everything's not coming together the way that it needs to for the team. Anyway, Carolina will be facing the San Francisco 49ers in Week 5. Now, moving on to other news. First up, Panthers QB Baker Mayfield has a high ankle sprain, expected to miss time. According to several sources, Baker Mayfield, the quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, sprained his left high ankle during Sunday's loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Due to backup Sam Darnold's own high ankle sprain, the Panthers Panthers will likely start third-year pro P.J. Walker in Mayfield's anticipated absence. On Sunday, the Panthers will play the Los Angeles Rams. Several hours after the Panthers sacked head coach Matt Rule, Mayfield's injury became public knowledge. Steve Wilks, a secondary coach, will act as acting head coach. During a tackle in the first half of Sunday's 37-15 defeat, Mayfield's ankle was rolled up. He returned to the game in the second half, but he wore a walking boot on his left leg to the post-game press conference. When Mayfield or Darnold will be able to make a comeback is unknown, but Rule stated last week that Darnold's comeback is not close. Next up, Carolina Panthers fire head coach Matt Rule as Baker Mayfield's poor performance takes a toll. The hiring of Baker Mayfield was intended to be a turning point in Matt Rule's coaching tenure with the Carolina Panthers. Instead, it signaled his death. Following a 1-4 start to the 2022 season, as the Panthers had predicted, Rule was sacked on Monday. Steve Wilks, who also serves as the secondary coach for the Panthers' defensive passing game, will take over for Rule as temporary head coach. Rule joined the team in 2020 and committed to a 7-year, $62 million deal with much optimism. Panthers owner David Tepper believed that Rule was qualified to carry out the same task in Carolina since the former Temple and Baylor coach rapidly earned a reputation as a rescuer, turning both teams into successful ones. Unfortunately, they received something wholly unexpected. Rule only produced an 11-27 record over his 2 or more seasons in Carolina, including consecutive seasons with 5 victories. Now that he's gone, he's left as the only Panthers head coach ever to have served less than 3 complete seasons. Finally, the San Francisco 49ers lose their second starting left tackle in 2 weeks, with Colton McKivitz to miss 2 months with an MCL sprain in the knee. The San Francisco 49ers have lost their starting left tackle to an injury for an extended length of time for the second consecutive week. Colton McKivitz missed Monday night's victory against the Los Angeles Rams due to a knee injury, a little more than a week after the star left tackle Trent Williams left the game with a high right ankle sprain sustained in a defeat to the Denver Broncos on September 25th. Tuesday afternoon, Niners head coach Kyle Shanahan stated that additional examination of McKivitz's knee had validated initial concerns of an MCL injury similar to those suffered by linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair and running back Elijah Mitchell. According to the schedule for Mitchell and Al-Shaair, McKivitz will be absent for around 2 months. This means that until Williams recovers from what is anticipated to be a 4 to 6 week layoff, the Niners will likely have to hold the fort at left tackle with third stringer Jalen Moore. And that's a wrap for this video. Do you think Rule should bench Mayfield? And if not, what should he do? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.